I don't think we were surprised to see EPATANTE do what she did in the fight in 5th, but she certainly made everyone look up and realise how good she was. She was brilliant, wasn't she? And you must have been extremely pleased with that seasonal return.
Yeah, you're always sort of nervous under those. It has to, you know, it needed to be good. Well, she needed to win, and then she needed to be good to keep everybody happy. And it was a mess of a race, yes, but so was a good dipstick and a good marker. She did go past. I mean, Darryl said I couldn't believe a horse would go past me going that fast. He said, because I wasn't stopping. He said, this thing just, that was it. He said, I couldn't even pick my stick up in time to give it a smack because it was game over already. How
worried were you early on when you saw Not So Sleepy do his antics and then take Silver Streak out? You must, because it was a case of just trying to avoid a bit of trouble.
Well, it was then, please, please, please leave the rest of us alone because this is going to become a catastrophe in a minute. Anybody could have got taken out. I mean, Silver Streak was desperately unlucky. No doubt he'll come back and attack us at the Christmas hurdle. But that's where we'll be going. And she might not be the only one. The team that owned FLORESSA, being an exuberant bunch, that managed to persuade me quite rightly. I said she wants 2.5 miles. And running in the Jerry Fielding was stupid because I thought Marie's Rock would win that anyway. And FLORESSA wanted 2.5 and they were mad. Well, now they're crowing and they've got their programme book and I haven't got mine anymore. It's totally up to them. And Richard said to me on Sunday when I was talking to him, he said, are you sitting down? I said, well, yes. Okay, we said, sit down. We talked about this. They're going to send something else in that's rather nice, and this, that, and the other. But now I'm going to drop the bomb. And what's that? We're going to run FLORESSA in the Christmas hurdle. Well, so I said, well, fine. Even they know FLORESSA isn't going to win the Christmas hurdle. But on the other hand, there's grade 1 black type in there for placed horses. So it could be a very valuable asset to her CV. Anyway, if they say it runs, I'm afraid I'm now in no position to argue.
If we just go back to EPATANTE, it's hard to sort of try and find a chink in her armour because, as you said, she's very versatile ground-wise. She's got a great turn of foot. Have you ever got any worry watching her in a race that she might not pick up, or is there anything you sort of always worry about her?
Well, she's funny because she goes along as if she's doing nothing. But she's so slick, isn't she? The way she crosses the hurdle is a bit scary. It's a bit like Bouvardere. It's A to B like an arrow and just so economic. Jerry rode her in a gallop with Altior at Newbury on that press morning there. And he was going along behind Altior. And having not really ridden EPATANTE before, Jerry said, well, I was fine, but doesn't feel like a champion hurdler to me. She's not very big. I don't know why they're all getting so excited about this, but follows Altior, follows Altior, follows Altior. And the time at the 3-furlong marker is to just come out of his slipstream and go and join him. But and all of a sudden, ping! And he's blimey. It's frightening. You can just press a button. You know, that's all you have to do. I'm not saying Aidan didn't need it. He gave her a beautiful ride. But you do. There is a button, and you just pray that it's going to work every time you press it. And she's extraordinary. Yeah, that gear is electric. There was obviously a worry going into Cheltenham last year that a lot of people were going back, well, what happened to her at Cheltenham the year before when she ran in the Mares Novice? And I think we actually thought she was probably one of our best chances of the whole of that year in the 2-mile Novice Mares, and she finished 6th. She ran a horrible race. She was very disappointing. So there were the doubters that saying, oh, well, she doesn't act, she needs flat tracks and all this, that and the other. Well, she luckily proved that all wrong.
So the plan is Christmas hurdle and then straight to the Unibet Champion.
It's what we did last year and the Unibet Champion hurdle, and we're all getting loads of flack for keeping our horses locked up until Cheltenham. But as it worked last year, I see no reason to take some more flack and put her away until Cheltenham.
SHISHKIN, again, absolutely brilliant on his chase debut at Kempton in a race, of course, that you've used for many of your stars, notably ALTIOR and Brain Power as well. First of all, what were your thoughts straight after the race?
Well, you couldn't do anything but give him 10 out of 10. I don't think he had a whole heap to beat, and he, not surprisingly, jumped to the front after about 3 fences, and it was a solo spin, but it was, yeah, it's going to be a different ball game when you come up against talented opposition. But he's won a Supreme under some extraordinary circumstances there. I mean, he so nearly got carried out. I mean, he was put into the car park, the Guinness tent and the steward's room before he got back in to jump the last and find a way through. So, you know, he's a very talented horse, but I thought his jumping at Kempton, I think everybody would agree, it was exemplary. He's got to keep that up. We probably thought we'd go back to Kempton for the Wayward lad. He'd have one more run in the beat, the Kingmaker or something like that. I mean...
If we look at SHISHKIN and ALTIOR, both at the same stages of their career, are there any similarities or differences between the two of them as they both, you know, as SHISHKIN has started his career off over fences?
Well, I think they have it similar. They both won the Supreme novice hurdle, and they both started their chasing careers with bloodless victories at Kempton in the same race. And yeah, I mean, it is possible that this could be another very, very, very high-class 2-miler. If that's the case, we're very lucky little boys, because we had Sprinter and he had to leave the scene. Waiting in the wings was ALTIOR to take over. And if that's the case again, then, you know, you'd be lucky to see one horse as good as any of those two, Sprinter and ALTIOR. You know, you're lucky. If there's a third one, then you're desperately lucky.
Let's talk about ALTIOR. So you're going to go and run in the Desert Orchid Chase. What's obviously Sandown's loss is Kempton's gain. How has he been over the last couple of weeks training?
He's been great, and we've been delighted with the way things are going. You know, even, you know, as everybody says, well, you're going to run him if it's soft ground at Kempton. Kempton soft ground and Sandown soft ground are two different things altogether. You know, there are lots of different types of soft. You know, if you went Kempton, Game Spirit, but this is getting a clear run, and lots of things could go wrong. Last year, he got a splint 3-4 days before Cheltenham. So anything can happen. Anything can jump out and bite you at the last minute.
I mean, he's rising 11. Does he still show you exactly the same level of ability on the gallops as he always has done? Well,
I think we put a little clip of him schooling out the other day. It terrifies me. I mean, Nico says, I think I ought to give you, we'd better give him a school. Just sharpens him up. If you must. Nico sets off and I shut my eyes. It's terrifying, because he's just so quick and fast and just comes up miles away. Very few horses have got the scope to do what he can do.